All right, folks, is the continued divide between Trump and the Federal Reserve. This is amazing. This fight is going on. Trump and the Fed. Trump wants interest rates down. The Fed's like holding tight. Well, is it putting us behind the curve again? Can the Fed take the right action at the right time? Or are we going to be looking at a potential economic slowdown? And what does it mean for our savings? Consider diversifying with gold through Birch Gold Group. I do. I love these guys, but I've always been into gold. For decades, gold has been viewed as a safe haven in times of economic stagnation, global uncertainty, high inflation. And Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy for you to diversify some of your savings into gold. If you have an IRA or old 401k, you can convert that into a tax-sheltered IRA. In physical gold, or just buy some gold to keep it in your safe like I do. First, get educated. Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on Birch Gold and Gold. Just text the word America to number 989898. Again, text America to 989898. Consider diversifying a portion of your savings into gold. That way, if the Fed can't stay ahead of the curve for the country, at least you can stay ahead of the curve for yourself. All right, let's bring in Rev Chief White House correspondent Brian Glenn, who's waiting to get into the Oval Office right now where President Trump will be signing executive orders. Always good to have you on, my friend. Executive orders. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in D.C. Do we know what these executive orders are about today?
As of right now, I don't know. I tried to do some research, and I haven't gotten any word from the Trump camp on these. It seems like Eric, he is signing executive orders almost every other day. He has quite a few, but as of these some that were on the books right now, I don't have any idea what they're pertaining to.
Well, if you get a chance, tell him we love having him at 4 o'clock because he seems to love them during the 4 o'clock hour. It's all good. Hey, Brian, you're in D.C. and this whole kind of nationalizing the D.C. police force, at least temporarily, is such a great idea. And so, just weigh in on this. 39% of D.C. is white. 61.1% is non-white. African Americans, minorities are going to benefit from a healthier, safer D.C., yet the left seems to want to really call Trump even racist for doing it.
Yeah, it seems like the only people who don't like this idea are Democrats in the media. They will push back on everything. And I started thinking about the other day when we started talking about tariffs, they pushed back. We started talking about, inflationary numbers, they pushed back. The interest rates, they pushed back. They pushed back on everything. So I thought to myself, surely they won't push back on wanting to decrease crime in this city, make it a little bit safer for everyone. But yes, Eric, they're going to push back on that. Well, the people I've talked to that live in and around my building are very supportive of what President Trump is doing right now. I saw my first glimpse at some National Guards just on my way back from the Kennedy Center. I love it. I think it's a good thing. We're going to get some criminals off the street. We're going to get the homeless encampments off the street as well. And Eric, there's even a kind of and if you've been to the White House, and I know you were here not too long ago, if you notice kind of a tent with a bunch of tarps in front of it, poster boards, flags, right in front of the White House on the other side of the fence, obviously, that has been there for years. It's been a staple. And for some reason, they're able to fly this under the park system and get some kind of day permit for this thing. I'm asking for that thing to be removed. If someone wants to come out here every single day and hold a sign up to voice their opinion on something, that's one thing. But that looks like a dadgum homeless encampment over there right in front of the White House, and it needs to be removed like all the other ones around this city, Eric. It's got to be cleaned up. President Trump just spoke earlier today about when world leaders come to this country and they come to our nation's capital, they comment on the graffiti. They comment on how bad the roads are. And President Trump says, quite frankly, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, what a gorgeous city, too. Inherently gorgeous city. Architecture is beautiful. The buildings are amazing. And it's just become so dilapidated and run down. It's terrible. We love what he's doing. And I'll tell the story yet again. I've told this several times. I was in New York City when I heard Trump was nationalizing, temporarily cleaning up Washington, D.C., and I literally said to myself that moment, New York should be next, and then Chicago, and then L.A. I was in New York, and I will tell you, it's a homeless encampment, the streets, marijuana, just horrible, disgusting trash everywhere. Why not Give these folks a chance. Give Hochul in New York a chance and the mayor of the city, New York City, a chance to clean it up. And if you don't, we're coming in. I think it's a great idea. Your thoughts?
I agree. And, when you look at West Hollywood area, there's Adam Schiff actually has an office not too far from where my son lives. And I took a picture years ago outside his office with the sign that says, "This way to Adam Schiff." It is nothing but homeless shopping carts, tents, bums people sleeping on the ground. It is horrible. We need to clean up our cities. We're better than this, Eric. We are way better than this. And people who need help, who need professional help, if someone has an addiction to drugs, we're all very compassionate, Eric. You know that. And we are willing to take these people and get the treatment they need. But if you're a criminal, and like President Trump said the other day in the briefing room, and Eric, this really resonated with me. If he says, if you spit, meaning if you want to spit in the face of a cop, we hit. And he's going to give the cops the ability to do what they need to do to get these people off the streets.
You know what, Brian? That is so important.
Society.
That is so, you're hitting on something that is so important. The reason why lawlessness thrives in Democrat cities. Because when the mayor's office of the city, mayor's office, always Democrat, big cities are predominantly Democrat mayors. When the mayor's office doesn't back the police to allow them to do their job, sometimes they'll throw a cop in jail for being a little too rough with a criminal. When the police force knows that they're not going to get the support of the mayor's office and they might get tossed in jail or fired for just doing your job, lawlessness prevails. It's been going like that in big cities and D.C. for too long. Trump is probably showing the country, you don't want national police force. You don't want it in your city. Clean your damn city up.
Yeah. If you don't want them, clean it up. Let good cops do their job.
Yeah.
Give them the ability to do their jobs. Yeah. I just saw a TikTok video this morning, and it was on the east side of this town where it looked like law enforcement agencies rolled up onto an area that is known for high crime, and they just got peppered with insults from people there, and people were getting in the law enforcement, the cops' face, and they were screaming at him, and they were the guy didn't spit, but he goes, "I'm going to spit on you." And I thought to myself, that would be the last thing you do before you end up in handcuffs and in jail. We need to bring law and order back to this country, especially in these out of control cities. Now, I will say this: nationwide, the murder rate nationwide, we are on a historic low for murder rate, which is a good thing. But if you look in the capital itself,
we got to talk about that for a second.
Yeah,
I'm a statistician. I've been doing stats my whole life. The 1980s was all hell broke loose. Murder rates were off the charts everywhere. Things got a lot better, and they were getting better until about 10 years ago, and they started to tick back up. And then, Democrats started becoming more popular and whatnot. And crime rates, violent crime rates, murder rates, rape, violent thefts, armed robberies started to tick up. Of course, there's going to be an outlier year. 2024 was one outlier year. Things ticked down. But if you take 10 or 12 years ago versus 23, 21, 22, 23, massively higher. Massively higher. So in some cases, 200-300% higher.
Well, look at COVID. You had people at home that could just get paid with stimulus checks, and specifically in California with the drug market there. I talked to people when I was out in California. They said, look, people are home smoking weed, playing video games, and at night they go out and loot and rob people, and they break into stores. That's their business model. It got out of control. So COVID and all the lockdowns did not do us any justice for keeping law and order. It actually made it more chaotic. But, President Trump is not taking this lightly. And he said just today in a press conference, it was asked, if this is only for 30 days, would you go further? And he said, absolutely, I will. Absolutely, I will. He's not playing around. This isn't just for show or for politics or to divert from the Epstein case or anything like this. It is about law and order in this city. And when you have someone on the Doge committee that tried to stop a carjacking, he jumped in with 7 guys. Eric, 7 guys. I'm not quite sure I'm jumping into the middle of 7 guys who try to fight everybody.
Why?
I would hope that I would.
You know why he did? His nickname is Big Balls, isn't it?
No, yeah. Well, maybe that explains it all. Maybe I need to check myself, right? But I would think at some point that goodness has got to prevail in the city, and I think what's happening is the law enforcement now know that there's a gentleman in that building behind me, the White House, is going to have their back on everything, and of course Tom Homan as well on ICE. Across the board. Pam Bondi is going to prosecute. Judge Janine's going to prosecute. We got to send a message to the teens. And Eric, to my case, what happened to me with my specific incident, it is teens. These teens, 14 to probably 17, those are the ones that are out of control. And they meet up in big mobs. They walk around the city. They go into the 7-Elevens and just about loot it and walk out. That's what they do. They jumping down on cars. We have got to send a message that if you do an adult crime, you've got to pay adult time, because they know they can just get out. Matter of fact, they taunt the police on all of this. So let's see what happens after we have maybe a full 30 days of increased police presence on the streets here in D.C.
That's great. Great. Hey, B, thank you for your time. I know you got to get inside the Oval Office. You're going to be traveling to Alaska with the president?
Yeah, tomorrow, Mason and I, who's behind the camera, come on over here, Mason, just for a second. This guy right here, we're going to travel across over to Alaska, about 11 hours or so. We're going to go over to Alaska. We'll be on the ground there covering President Trump and Vladimir Putin at that summit one-on-one. Will be a press conference. We'll have all the coverage right here on Real America's Voice. By the way, sponsored by our friends over at AMAC. I want to give them a big shout out right now, because it takes a lot of people to step up to the plate to make these special coverages work. And so our friends at AMAC, thank you so much for your participation in this trip over to Alaska. I don't know when we're going to do these hits. It's kind of a time difference, but stay tuned.
Love to get you to check in with us.
Live on the ground.
Check in with Bolling at some point during that trip. Brian Glenn, really good having you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, we'll be back. 2.5 minutes.